Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Fittest Car Mods. Today, you see the boat there. Today we are going to be working on the old F150. Actually, it's a new one, but we're going to be working on this today. Hunting season's coming up, and I've got to drive around in some areas that have a lot of stuff that could potentially puncture my gas tank or my plastic oil pan, because Ford thought that plastic was a great material to use for an oil pan. So today we're going to be installing some skid plates. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay, so today we're going to be installing some skid plates on the truck. That's going to involve dropping the gas tank, which hopefully we don't actually drop it. I plan on supporting it with a 2x4 and jack. Done this before. Replacing the straps with some straps I've got studs to actually mount the skid plate to. And then also removing the factory felt undercarriage kind of plate. And we'll be putting in the factory metal skid plate that comes on the FX4 trucks. Everything that we're putting on today is factory from Ford. The FX4 package is, I want to say it's right around $1,200. It comes with upgraded shocks and the skid plates and some fancy stickers on the side of the truck. I didn't get that package because, well, I won shocks for a vehicle of my choice at a raffle, and then I got the skid plates at a much better price than $1,200 because, well, I don't think they should cost $1,200 for what they're giving you from the factory. You can spend $1,200 on much better skid plates that you can basically support the entire truck with and not do any kind of damage to it. So let's get going. I'm going to start on the rear skid plate first because the truck is already backed in position and the underside of the truck is less wet. It's been raining here in Oregon. So we'll start with the back skid plate first, spin the truck around, and do the fronts. Let's get to work. Alright, I'm not sure what happened with the focus there. I tried to reshoot it, but I liked what I said the first take best, so I'm just going to leave it, and y'all are going to just have to get over the focus issue. I think, yeah. So, right here, this is the 36-gallon skid plate. Kind of tall. This is made out of plastic. It is a very thick plastic. I think it will do just fine for my purposes of this taking the beating instead of the fuel tank. And that attaches to these. These are the fuel tank straps that have the studs on it for attaching the skid plate. The ones that came on my truck from the factory didn't have these. These are a factory part. This whole kit for a 36-gallon fuel tank. Full retail price for all of the parts needed on this list is $356. I will post up a picture of this parts list. That way everybody has what is involved with this, and hopefully we'll be able to see if I have any issues and avoid those issues for themselves. All right, looking up underneath the truck, you can see the rear axle there, so we're pointing towards the back of the truck. Looks like the rear strap is the narrower strap, and moving towards the front strap is the wider strap. And when it's all said and done, it will sit up right like this. This is the most precarious position ever. Something like that. All right, and there she is. That took me all of 15 minutes, including having to get up a couple times to grab tools. It was a 15 mil standard or deep well, works for the bolts right up in here. That's a 15 mil, and these ones here are 13. There's one bolt here and one bolt on the front strap, and then it's a little T socket connection that looks like this on the other side of the strap. You can see there's a bolt hole on that side of that one, and then it has a matching T thing on the other side. Super, super, super easy as long as you support your fuel tank with a jack or something. And this, I do have at least enough confidence in this to keep me from scraping up or compromising my fuel tank in any way. I'm not expecting to set the truck down on anything. I don't want to destroy this truck. I just want a little bit of added protection because I know the area that we're going to be hunting in. It's got some spots where got some pretty deep potholes, and then the spot getting in and out of our campsite is ridiculously steep, and I have about an inch of clearance if the ground is not soft between the fuel tank and the ground at the breakover point. So I wanted to put this on. Now on to the front skid plates. All right, I've got the front skid plates out here lined up. We've got the oil pan skid plate right here, transfer case skid plate here, and so shut up, dogs. Basically gonna put the bolt, or rather the nut clips here, and here, and this piece goes right there. All right, there's that. That was a 13 mil. That seems pretty stout. It looks like it'll support the entire weight of the truck on it quite well. And that will, for the most part, protect the T-case, especially the lowest spot that's below the frame. Over here, it's above the frame rail, so that should be okay. Now, I believe the next one goes all the way forward. I think this felt panel stays here, which is kind of odd because it's the transmission right above it, but I can't see anywhere else for that front one to go, which would be up by the underneath the oil pan. Oh yeah, and the transfer case skid plate took me 6 minutes. Not too bad. All right, I think I have a handle on how this is going to go. So I've got to remove these 4 bolts to get rid of this floppy fabric thing. These 2 bolts back here, and there's 2 smaller bolts up underneath that are holding another floppy fabric thing. And this whole piece gets removed. This piece gets removed. Floppy fabric thing gets removed. And then this entire metal piece replaces all of that. And then the floppy fabric thing back there gets put into the back holes on this metal piece. I think that's what's happening. I'm gonna start working and we'll see if I'm right. Oh, that's stupid. All right. I'm gonna complain for a little bit here. Your oil filter is right up here, right above the power steering rack, and there's a tray that when you unscrew the oil filter, it catches the oil and drips it down right here. Come on, Ford. You couldn't have put the oil filter in a more convenient spot. Also, really? Plastic freaking oil pans? I thought this was the transmission pan when I was back there. No, this is the oil pan. And the drain plug, the plastic drain plug, is in kind of an odd, annoying spot behind one of the plastic floppy things. So I will probably be cutting out that piece of fabric to, I don't know, let me see if I can get my head out of the way. It's right back here. I'll probably be cutting out this piece of fabric so I don't have to mess with that every time I change the oil. A lot of really, really annoying design bits for the general maintenance on that so far. Back to this, which is a 8mm. God, so this skid plate doesn't even cover the oil pan. This is just for the power steering rack and the front differential, which is covered in oil because of the stupid design. Yeah, that's definitely oil, not differential fluid. I kind of wonder if I can get a relocation kit. Alright, so there's the new skid plate underneath there. A little better protection for everything. Still not happy that the fabric skid plate right back here, that goes back towards the that exhaust pipe. It's from this cross member back to that exhaust pipe. That is still fabric, and that's where the oil pan is. Not really a huge fan of that idea, but everything is a little better protected now for elk season at least. I've got all this stuff installed and out of my garage. This front one took me about 30 minutes to install, or excuse me, 20 minutes. So yeah, overall, the process for installing these skid plates was actually pretty easy. I was expecting it to be a little more of a headache than it was, but I will take it. I like easy projects. Next, today, I'm gonna end this episode here. Same day, probably gonna be, the next video is gonna be released on a different day, but the next project is going to be installing the CB antenna, or CB, a whole CB. Antenna is gonna go right up here, and then radio will get mounted in the center console somewhere. But that's another episode. Thanks for watching today's episode of Fittest Car Mods, and we'll see you next time. Peace.